Spread the message, I'm a minister. Stand my coverage, I'm a minister. A minister of Christ. I'm a minister. Oh, I'm a minister. Oh, I'm a minister. Yeah, a minister of Christ. Let them see that in you. Oh yeah, minister of Christ.
Hello there. God bless our homeland Ghana and make our nation great and strong. You want me to continue, eh? But I resisted this temptation. Anyway, greetings from the Parliament House. I'm privileged to be in the office of one member of Parliament. And this is where we are going to have this edition of The Minister. The Minister is a talk show where we seek to tackle little discrepancies in Christianity as we discuss those controversies. And today, I have with me a member of Parliament who is also a minister of the gospel. And can you guess the topic? Well, we are going to look at Christianity and politics. Christianity and politics. But before that, we'll get to know more about her, how she got into politics, and what's behind her ministry. And when we are then we'll look at the topic Christianity and politics. Then we shall crown it all with the challenge. You can imagine our MP here having the challenge. Well, you wouldn't want to miss it. But before then, you would want to subscribe to our YouTube channel down there. Subscribe to us. We are supported by Control Motion Pictures, Preach Media, Creative Ghana, MP Concept, and Rena's Restaurant. And so follow us. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back shortly.
Let them see that in you. Oh yeah, minister of Christ.
Hello there. Do you need professionals to work on your brand identity? Do you need a beautifully and professionally designed website? Is there a music video, commercial, or animated AD? Call Creative Ghana now. Or follow us online.
Let them see that in you. Oh yeah, minister of Christ.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We are also on Facebook, The Minister, Instagram and Twitter at The Minister_TV, and YouTube also. The channel is Minister TV. Do well to subscribe. So like I said, we are looking at the topic Christianity and politics. And I'm in the office of Member of Parliament for Cratchit West constituency, and she's also a minister of the gospel, and she is Reverend Honorable Helen Adjoa Ntoso. Madam, thank you so much for having us in your office. And also, she is the pastor for Mount Horeb Victorious International Church, Tashi English Assembly. A politician who is also a pastor. Let's try to find out how she got into that. Madam, tell us how, before we start talking about your ministry, being a pastor, how did you get into politics as a person? How did you get into politics?
Yeah, thank you very much, and greetings to our viewers. I got into politics at age 22.
22?
Yes, age 22. So then from there, you know, that was when I was trained as I'm a teacher by profession.
Okay.
And it started from the revolutionary era, where some of us, you know, were interested, you know, in joining the revolution. The idea of our former President Jerry John Rawlings, you know, when he stayed the coup, and then he was asking people to join him because it was a true cause, probity and accountability. So immediately after school, that was in 1982, I was teaching at Kaneshi West an 8 middle school. So I joined from there, and I was with the task force.
Wow.
And then, you know, after the activities of the task force, it was changed to, you know, these vigilante groups, and then from there to civil defense organization, the CDO. So I had my parliamentary training. I joined the CDO, and I was posted to, it was called Krachi Nkwanta area, Nkwanta North, Nkwanta South, because it was one district as far as to Krachi, as an adjutant of the CDO, of the civil defense. So that was where I developed interest. And then in 1996, I contested as a parliamentarian, as a
member of parliament.
Yes, I contested, you know, the primaries. I contested the primaries with Honorable Bediame. You know, he won, sort of. And then I supported him to win and to come to parliament. Then I waited. You know, I believe in waiting.
Okay.
That's why I normally advise the youth to have a waiting spirit.
Yeah.
I believe in waiting on the Lord. Because you know the word of God says that all those who wait upon the Lord, they shall renew their strength. They will soar on wings like the eagle. They will run, they will not be weary, and they will walk and they shall never faint. So I waited patiently on the Lord. And at the right time in 2012, the Lord called me that I should
be there. So from 1990 something to 2012, that was when you became a member of parliament.
Yes. So I became a member of parliament.
Well,
I won in 2012.
Let's take a look at this. It looks like a politician or politics is kind of a hardcore something, and it's sometimes it's I don't want to say it's a bit weird, even though right now we want to inspire more women into politics, but it looks a bit weird when a woman being so strong and being able to venture into politics. Being a woman, how was it for you going to because looking at from where you started since former President Wallen's time, during those era and all those things, and being a woman at age 22, what was your inspiration? Where was your strength from?
You know, I said earlier on that I had my parliamentary training and I was in the revolution. So, and then there was this, in fact, the former First Lady, Nana Kunadu Adjoa, in fact, you give honor to whom honor is due.
Yeah.
In fact, he was really inspiring women, you know, to come forward and also involve themselves in leadership positions, to play leadership roles. So we some of us, we were looking at her activities with the 31st December Women's Movement, and I was also a member of that movement. I was a member of the 31st at the same time when I was the civil defense, and I'm listening to her and wow, how she was inspiring women. That was actually, you see, when I see a woman in position, I'm so encouraged that if this woman is able to do this, I should be able to do also what the person is doing, and at times even I feel I can even do better.
Yeah.
So I had inspiration from that period, and then we realized that I realized that the women were not involving themselves in politics. You know, we're having a few women in parliament.
Okay.
So I'm not surprised that I became the first, you know, female MP in my constituency.
Oh. And
don't forget that I also became the first female to have held a position as a regional minister in the Volta region.
Wow.
Yes.
Then that's a great achievement from you, and you're doing so well.
Yeah.
Let's come to your ministry. Looking at from age 22, I don't think you were a pastor by age 22 by then when you started. So which means that you were already in politics.
Yes, and I wasn't even a born again.
You were not even a born again by then.
No.
So
I was a church goer.
You were just a church goer.
Yes.
So when was that turnover point for you? When you decided that you want to be in ministry or become a Christian and be in ministry, you were already into politics, actively in politics already. Yeah.
What happened was that in 2000, in fact, my walk with the Lord has ups and downs. I'm not a pastor, so I've got to tell you what really happened to me. It was ups and downs, you know. today I'm right with the Lord, tomorrow I'm not right with the Lord, and
go back.
Yes,
back.
you go back, you fall and you rise. So in 2000, I was the district coordinator for NADMO, and when NDC lost, you know, the new government, which is the NPP government that's in power now, you know, a whole lot of things happened. You know, we had our appointment letters before we were employed, had our appointment letters, but when they came, they were asking us to come for, you know, another interview, which I didn't see the sense in it.
Yeah, you've already been employed.
Employed,
so
and I worked so hard. So when I left as the district coordinator, NADMO, when I left, nobody has been able to do what I did there. You know, so I didn't see the sense in, you know, going for the interview. I went there and I told them I will not sit to be interviewed. Yeah, so I told the people who were interviewing that I wouldn't sit to be interviewed because I already have my appointment letter. So when that happened, it means I was home without a job.
Okay.
I was home without a job. I was praying for God to open a door for me. And at that particular time, life was a bit miserable because my brother, my younger brother, who was in abroad for 15 years, died, you know, in abroad. And this was in 1994. And then my older sister, my father's, you know, firstborn, who was a breadwinner for the family, died in 98. My father was so sad that he died in 99, and I was fired in 2000. So there was no hope.
Yeah.
You see, a toad does not run in the daytime for nothing, unless something is after it.
Sure.
So there was no hope. So that was when I realized that, look, I better have to go back to my God, because there is no hope. I've got to put my hope in the Lord. I've got to trust in the Lord for Him to open a door for me.
So that was when you now decided to become a devoted Christian.
Yes.
And what point did you become a minister?
Yes. So when that happened, when God opened the door for me, I went to UK. You know, I went to UK, and I decided just to serve God. I decided to be a volunteer in an international retreat and conference center.
By then, you were no more actively in politics. Let me say
I was out.
The break.
You know, I was out. There was a break.
Yeah.
There was a break. I was out of job.
Yeah.
My father died. The breadwinner died. The second breadwinner died, and my mother, the widow, was there, and I have to take care of my late sister's children, and my children, and you know, so there was no hope.
There was no hope.
So God opened the door for me, and I went to UK, and I went as a volunteer to serve at an international retreat and conference center. I gave myself to the Lord, and the Lord was using me.
Wow.
So then I came back 2004, and I was recruited again by the UK Church Army.
Okay.
And I was trained as a missionary there.
Okay.
In Liverpool. From Liverpool, I was transferred to London, and I was in West Norwood, and I was a pastoral assistant with the Anglican Church.
Oh.
In Ntoso Hill. So then I had my training. So now being trained as a missionary, and I was able to, you know, be a pastoral assistant, and you know, working very well, and they so loved me.
Wow.
So when I realized that God started using me, you know, miraculously, and He was using me to do miracles, you know, praying with people who were sick on phone, and they were receiving their healing.
Wow.
Yes, a hole in heart, somebody due for operation, that sort of thing. So then I kept praying, and the Lord spoke to me, because the Lord knows that, look, this is somebody who is interested in politics. So the Lord spoke to me and said, look, I want Christians.
He
wants Christians to be part of Ghanaian politics.
So then you decided to go back into politics.
So I decided to come back.
But you still maintained your
yes,
Christianity aspect so strong.
Yes. I had, you know, I was a member of the intercessory group for the Trinity Baptist Church in London.
Okay.
So I told them that I've heard the Lord, you know, speaking to me that, look, this is what He wants me to be. So I'm going back home, and they didn't sort of, you know, believe it. They said, why? But there are people in Ghana who are Christians who can be politicians. I said, okay, God is asking me to be part of the Christians in Parliament. So I'm coming home, and it's sort of doubting Thomas. There was some doubting Thomas.
Let's reserve that one for the controversy part when when you're talking about the Christianity and politics.
Yeah.
But then now you pastor a church,
Yes, so
Mount Horeb International Church. Yes. And
so I came down, and then I was employed with NADMO as the director in charge of the search and rescue team. Then from there, I contested 2000. Then I won. Then I realized that truly, God really wanted me to come back.
So,
and
at what point did you start pastoring your church?
Yes, so I became a minister for Volta region, Eastern region, back to Volta region. And then when we lost, I decided that, look, this time around, because when you are a minister, I can tell you, not a minister of God, a political minister.
Yeah.
I mean, the pressure, the work schedule is not easy. So this time around, I said, look, now that there's some little break, let me go into full-time ministry work, vis-a-vis my political work. So then the prophet Kwakuni saw in me that, look,
for purpose of people who don't know Prophet Kwakuni, who is he, what does he do? So
yeah, Prophet Kwakuni is the general overseer of the Mount Horeb prayer center.
So that's where the
Yes.
Mount Horeb International Church comes from, sort of.
Yes, Mount Horeb Prayer Center and Mount Horeb Victorious Church. So he's the general overseer. He's a very good prophet. He's a good man of God.
But, and you pastor it with your husband?
Yes.
So unless you do it with your husband.
Yes.
Then that's the kind of lovely, because husband or wife also, when they tell us about how your family life is like.
Yeah, my husband is a theologian. My husband is a theologian. So we both decided, we saw the calling, because ministry work is about calling.
Yeah.
And God has times and seasons at when He calls one. So then we realized that when I decided that, look, I better have to, because I have time now, I'll have to do God's work. So he said, yeah, I also want to do same. So we availed ourselves, and the prophet ordained us.
What's the stake on you being a minister and at the same time being a politician? And how are you able to take care of the home? Like, what's the stake about it? Because most of the times, men being the breadwinner of the house and their wives so actively, so with busy schedules, let me say so. When you are actively in politics, you don't even have time, let me say so. And you are still a minister, and you still have to cater for the home. Yeah. How do you do it? Yeah. How do you balance? What's the balance there?
The Bible says that we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us.
Sure.
It's not easy. But the moment the Holy Spirit empowers you to do certain things, you can easily do it with a hustle. So whatever we're doing, we're not doing in our power, not in our might, but by the Spirit of God. So as long as the Holy Spirit strengthens you, you can do all things. So that is what is encouraging us. That is what is helping us to be able to do this without any hustle. Yes.
So I've been speaking to Reverend Honorable HelenAdjoaNtoso, who is the MP for Cratchit West constituency. She's also the pastor for Mount Horeb Victorious International Church. And so we'll end this segment here, and then we'll take the controversy. But then let's take a quick breather. When we come back, we'll have the controversy.
Let them see that in you. Oh yeah, minister of Christ.
I walked into this restaurant after a hectic day, and I was embraced by this great ambience and warm reception from waiters. And yes, the food is just delicious. For all your continental and local dishes, a great space for your conference meetings and entertainment, then Venus Restaurant is the place to be. Walk into Venus Restaurant located inside Oxford Street Mall Osu on top of ShopRite. Contact us on 030-393-2693 for all your inquiries and bookings. Venus Restaurant, tasty meals in style.
Let them see that in you. minister of Christ.
Thank you so much for staying with us. This is the minister, and today we are looking at the topic Christianity and politics. This is the controversy segment. You know, from creation, God gave man the power and authority to dominate, and that was the beginning of leadership. And so he calls his people back to the start. And so we can have characters like Joseph, who was the prime minister of Egypt. We could have Moses, who was a political figure. We could have Joshua continue the work, and then the establishment of kings. And even this transcends into the New Testament. And so Paul, in his letter to Timothy, admonished the church that they should pray for those in power and those in authority. 1 Timothy 2:1 and 2. And so you could see that God does not abhor politics. Neither do Christianity prevent people from becoming politicians. But then we ask, can a Christian venture into politics and still uphold to its integrity? Well, throughout the media, we hear of politics here and there, people trying to do things that are not Christian-like. But then we ask, do we need Christians to enter into those areas and still change things? Can it even make a difference at all? That is what we're going to talk about, Christianity and politics. And so since we have an MP who is actively in politics and also actively in ministry, how good it is for a Christian to be in politics. We are going to look at that today. But before we start with the discussion, as usual, we went on the street to seek your views. And so let's take your views from the street talk. Can a Christian be in politics? Is it relevant for a Christian to be in politics and why?
For sure. A Christian must be in politics. In the actual sense, some people are born to be leaders, and leaders does not come with religious background. So if you're a Christian, you have every right to become a leader. Now, what I'm trying to say is, if you think that religious, maybe for instance, your religion wouldn't permit you to become a leader, then it's a wrong thing. Because if you're a Christian, you have every right to become a leader, and every Christian has the mandate. Despite the religion, yes, being into politics does not mean you can't be. Being a Christian does not mean you can't be a politician. Politics goes in several ways. Despite the corruption and other things that they've been doing, does not mean Christians don't qualify. There are genuine people into politics, and a Christian can involve him or herself. Because if you need a change, then a Christian can be a part of that change. A Christian can be a part of that change. So it shouldn't be that we should hand over politics to people that we think they can put the politics as a whole into a mess. Because once you're a Christian and you have the fear of God in you, for sure you are going to change things marvelously in the political system. And politics need Christians. They need us to work.
Thank you.
They need us to work.
Are you? So, is it relevant for a Christian to be in politics, and why?
It's very necessary. You know, a Christian to be in politics, I don't see anything wrong with it. It's a right for everybody to vote. And then, you know, everybody has their favorite. Political parties, they are just there for people to at least participate in it. So, if a Christian is in a political party, I don't see anything wrong with it.
Can we call such a person? Can a political party or politics cause a Christian's value? If the person may change along the line.
It depends on the type of Christian you are dealing with. You know, as you say, we have Christian and then we have Christians. When we say somebody is a Christian, we mean somebody who is taking the full step of Jesus Christ. People are going to church, but actually they are not Christians because they are not following the full step of Christ. So I think the right Christian cannot be influenced by money or anything to join. He can join it willingly. That's it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, my point of view, yeah, it's relevant because as when we look into the Bible, from David time era up to this point, it's God. They made us aware that it's God that bring forth president or a leader. So I think it's relevant for Christians to engage in politics. But as to how we Christians partake in those activities, that is where the problem lies.
Okay.
So that's my point of view.
Okay. Thank you so much. So thank you so much for staying with us. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please do that. It's Minister TV. Subscribe to the channel and follow our social media handles: Facebook, The Minister, Instagram and Twitter at The Minister_TV. And so that way your views from the street talk. And so we are going to zoom into the discussion. This is the controversy segment, and we are looking at Christianity and politics. Reverend Honorable, nice combination. Reverend Honorable, it's politics an unavoidable venture for Christians?
I don't think it should be unavoidable. You know, as a state, let me describe the state as people cruising a boat. As people of this country, we are all in the same boat. If we've got to play our role to make sure that the boat sails smoothly and to land at the shore safely, then we have a role to play.
We have a role to play.
We have a role to play as Christians. Other than that, if people are in the boat and they are rocking the boat and the boat sinks, we Christians who are in the state will also sink. So it is a very vital role, you know, very important for Christians to be part of politics. What do politicians do? A politician is someone who is actively involved in party politics, or somebody who is seeking an office in government.
Okay.
And what do? You know, legislation. You know, don't forget that we have the executive, we have the judiciary, and we have the executive.
Yeah.
You know, creating of laws, policies, and whatever to rule a nation. So if politicians, if Christians do not want to involve themselves in politics, and then we allow, you know, people that we term politicians to rule this country, there will be serious problems.
But don't you think that, well, like the Bible says that bad manners corrupts good manners, and so probably we are just, as Christians, we are just being careful not to enter into politics so that our integrity is also at stake. And so why the need? Because I still want to uphold my integrity. I want to stay at my one corner and just be fine, rather than being in politics and at the end of the day my integrity is at stake.
People talk about integrity. Integrity, you know, if you're talking about one's integrity, you look at yourself, introspection, and decide whether to be involved in certain things that others do that will not inherit the kingdom, and you doing things that will please God to inherit the kingdom. Because whatever we're doing on this earth, one day, Revelation 22:12, Christ will come, and then he says, I have my reward in my hand to give it to accordingly. I mean, he's going to give it according to what you have done on this earth. So we are all accountable to the maker. So if we are in this country and we are all in the same boat, if we Christians do not involve ourselves in politics to speak, to make sure that things go right, and this country sinks, we are all going to sink.
But it looks like before you can be in politics so actively, you need to be that kind of hardcore. You need to this is what people are saying. I sought views from people. You need to backbite. You need to speak ill of other people. You need to say what's not it is in order to get what you want. And so, and that is not also Christian-like. It does not speak well of you as a Christian. And so you being in a Christian, and if you're going to say that you want to do away with all these things and be in politics, then it's going to be hard for you. You're going to find it very tough.
When you talk about backbiting, that in politics people backbite, they talk about politicians. What about Christendom? There's also backbiting in Christendom.
It's in the church.
Is it not in the church? Pastors are condemned. The same way politicians are, you know, spoken up of.
Okay.
You know, pastors are also now having the bashes from the public, isn't it? About doing certain things that do not please God. So if politicians are doing certain things that do not please God, pastors are doing certain things that do not please God, then what prevents, Christians to be part of the governance of this country? Because whether you are a politician or you are not a politician, people talk about you.
People talk about, so it doesn't really necessarily mean politics.
Yes,
But ordinary person it does.
Ordinary person. So people who are not even playing politics, people talk about them, isn't it?
Yeah.
But don't forget that Jesus, let me get this Bible quotation.
Okay.
In Matthew 22, verse 21, don't forget that Jesus, when he was asked a question about whether to pay tax, what did he say? He said, give unto Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and unto God what belongs to God. So if you are a politician and you are a Christian, you give to Caesar, do what you are expected of as a Christian for government.
As a Christian
as a politician, no, as a politician for government, and as a Christian for God. So you can blend the two.
Yes, that is
as a Christian, I am doing things to please God.
Yeah.
And as a politician, I do things to please government, but
it should please God.
But it should please God. That's what this is what I want to explain. Look, I'm a politician. I am a Christian. Jesus says, give unto Caesar what is for Caesar, and unto God what belongs to God. Do you get me? So now I'm a politician. I've got to do things to please my party. But in doing things to please my party, I should do things that will please God.
Exactly.
That will please God.
Exactly.
And then as a Christian, I should do things that will please God, so that people who see my actions will glorify God.
God. So
not glorifying my government, but whatever I'm doing as a Christian, it will glorify the name of God. Because people will look at my actions, they will look at my activities and to say that, look, but this is a Christian who is a politician.
Okay. So you are in politics right now, so I can direct this question to you directly. Yes. So has there been a point in time where being a Christian, right now being a Christian and being actively in politics, maybe your party said A, B, and C, and you disagreed with it, and you told them point blank, I disagree, or you did compromise or something?
You know what? I was even having a discussion with somebody. Somebody met with me yesterday and said, hey, I remember when you said to us that we're going to lose, and then we didn't agree with you.
Yeah.
Only yesterday, you know, he said, I remember when you met me in Flaster House when you were stepping out, and then you said, look, we're losing, and he said, when you left, I just looked at you, and then look at her back and said, look at this woman. We are not losing. She says we are losing. Do you get me?
Yeah.
So these are some of the controversies where you are a politician, you are a Christian, you see things in you know, with spiritual eyes. Maybe some people do not see it, and they do disagree with you, but you know that what you are saying is coming from the Holy Spirit.
No, apart
so
from
you not follow that. The controversy is that when you know that this is A, you've got to call it A.
Yes.
And because of politics, because you belong to a party, you've got to call it B.
Yes.
Meanwhile, it is A. It happens.
And it is okay.
It happens. It happens. I mean, what
it happens, and I want to find out
what
whether
I mean
it's
is
fine.
It's happening. It's not fine. It is not fine that you've seen that this is A. But because of party affiliation, you've got to say it's B.
Is B.
That is the risk in politics.
Yeah.
When you are a Christian.
Yeah.
And this is part of controversy, which reason Christians do not want to involve themselves in politics. But let me tell you, if you really want to inherit the kingdom of God, and you are a politician, when it is A, you will tell the leadership that, look, this is A. I don't want to be part of this, because I see that where we are going is not fine. You say it, and God sees. God looks at the heart of one, not the appearance of one. So if I go to a leader to say that, look, what I have seen about this particular issue is that we have to call a spade a spade. If it doesn't happen, God knows that you have played a role. You have said what you are supposed to do, to say, to please God.
Okay.
So that's it. So if it is not done, it doesn't mean that you are also
you condone or you compromise. But probably maybe behind doors, you said something, you did something. Do you see Christians responding to the call of politics or the call of becoming politicians in your view? The call of
like
becoming or venturing into politics. Do you see Christians now venturing into politics?
Christians are venturing into politics because I'm a reverend with NDC.
Yeah.
There's a pastor also. There's a pastor also with MPP.
Okay.
Do you get me?
Yeah.
And we have a lot of Christians. If you look at the profile of politicians, from the president to the assembly man or woman at the local level, you realize that either a Christian or a Muslim.
Yeah.
We all believe in God, isn't it?
Yeah. It looks like we all go to church, all right.
Yes.
We all go to church, all right, and these are the same people in politics or something. But sometimes when we say politics or when the name politics comes to mind, we take our attention off Christian. When we look at a side that, oh, these people, these people
it's because of what happens. It's because of what we politicians are portraying.
Okay.
People listen to us.
Sure.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So if people listen to us and say, politicians, they don't speak the truth. They come telling us this, and then they come to power, they are doing that. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So what is the trust? It's about trust. It's about trust. So you say A and later, and then you have power, or you are put in a position, and then the A that you were calling, now you call it B. So that discourages Christians from for coming out to play politics.
Okay.
And then the name tag.
Okay.
The name calling. People do not have that heart, to play politics for them to be insulted. For instance, if you're a woman politician, it's like every woman is tagged as a prostitute.
Kind of, maybe.
Kind of, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Whether you are married or not, they call you names and whatever. And people who do not have heart to be able to accommodate insults, because politics, especially Ghanaian politics that I know of, is full of insults. Let me tell you, if you were not doing politics, people who cannot, but for politics, insult you.
They will insult.
They will insult you. People who, your kids are even older than, can insult you, but for politics. Do you get me?
Yeah.
So there are people, they hear this and they are discouraged. That look, I'm interested in politics, but this insult, this name tag and whatever, I have to stay away from it. But you see, I said this earlier on, that whether you are a pastor or not a pastor, you are a politician, not a politician, people insult you.
Yeah.
There are people out there, you meet with them, you haven't done anything and they hate you. They just look at you, your appearance, and they hate you. So whether you are involved in politics or not, you still come across this kind of hatred, this kind of this kind of insults. So you better do it.
But you see, sometimes when you have as a person, individual, where you feel you have so much power, you kind of elevate yourself to a particular level. And so when people kind of trying to insult you, then you are like, who is this person to insult me like that? Doesn't the person know that I have much power? But when nobody knows you, then for that, even if they talk about you, you are not even worried. And so don't we think that sometimes we allow the power to get so much into us as politicians or those actively in politics, and so we allow power to get so much into us that we tend to lose our Christian values?
You know what? I met a young guy. I went to my constituency, and a young guy came to me, and then he said, he said to me that, my husband, we laughed at, he said, if the moment you decide to involve yourself in politics, that is when people delve into where your grandfather was buried, your great grandfather was buried.
They will look into
do you
your
understand?
things. Yes, exactly.
Into the archives.
Yes.
To come out with certain things. At times they concord, stories. For instance, in my constituency, from 2012, they were calling me a barren woman. And do you get me? So they, people were using that to campaign against me, that I don't have kids, I wouldn't pay people's children's school fees and blah blah blah. That has been my tag, a barren woman.
Yeah.
Do you understand? If you are actually barren, you'll be worried.
Yeah.
Because they are insulting you, are a barren woman.
But really touch you.
Me, I am not worried because, but if I were not even having children, I wouldn't have been worried because, God, these fingers are not the same.
I want you to look into the camera and advise someone who wants to get into politics, especially maybe a Christian, but for the sake of the church, or maybe thinking that people may say one or two things about him, he would be trying to shrink a bit. I want you to encourage such a person.
From my experience, I think any Christian who is interested in politics should come and join. He should join, because the more you have people who are God fearing, the better this nation will be.
So thank you so much for staying with us. The minister is supported by Control Motion Pictures, Preach Media, Creative Ghana, and Venus Restaurant. And the discussion has been coming to you from the office of Member of Parliament for Cratchel West constituency, Reverend Honorable HelenAdjoaNtoso, and that we've been discussing on the topic Christianity and politics. We're on the last segment, which is the challenge. And would you want to know the challenge I have for my honorable? Your challenge, I'm taking you to the children mood right now. And so the challenge for our honorable is that she's supposed to sing a Sunday school song with the actions.
Yeah, okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
So let's roll it. Let's get it done.
Okay. He's got the whole world in his hands. 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 He's got the little baby in his hands. He's got the little baby in his hands. He's got the little baby in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got you and me. In his hands, he's got you and me. In his hands, he's got you and me. In his hands, he's got the whole world in his hands.
Thank you so much for having us with us. We want to say thank you so much for having us, and we've intensively discussed on the topic. And so thank you so much also for watching this program. You want to join us in the discussion? Let's continue with the discussion on our social media platforms. On Facebook, The Minister, Instagram and Twitter at @TheMinister_TV, and on YouTube where you're watching it, it is Minister TV. Do well to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and we have been discussing on the topic Christianity and politics. Like I said, the minister is supported by Control Motion Pictures, Preach Media, Creative Ghana, and Venus Restaurant. Thank you so much to my crew members, to Joseph and John, our producers, able producers, to Christian Pat Kumi, our social media manager, to Kate, Catherine, and to all other people helping us put this program. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for watching us. You want to watch the other episodes and also subscribe for more episodes. This has been the minister dealing with the controversies, and I was discussing on the topic Christianity and politics with Reverend Honorable HelenAdjoaNtoso. Thank you so much for watching us, and be in expectation for the next episode. Bye-bye.
Yeah, work and courage, I'm a minister. Spread the message, I'm a minister. Stand my courage, I'm a minister. A minister of Christ. I'm a minister. Oh, I'm a minister. minister of Christ. Let them see that in you